Assalamualaikum everyone. We are starting our part 2 of Mathematics 4024 and summer 2024 class पेपर कंप्लीट करेंगे इस वीडियो में. Okay, so we have completed till question number 12 as you can see above, and now we are starting question number 13. Okay, so what is it saying? Kamal records the number of phone calls he receives at work each day for 20 days. The result are shown in the table. Number of phone calls is 0 to 5, the frequency is 9. From 6 to 10, the frequency is 5. From 11 to 15, the frequency is 4. And from 16 or more, the frequency is 2. Find the relative frequency of Kamal receiving 0 to 5 phone calls at work in one day. So, relative frequency का formula क्या होता है? Relative frequency is equals to frequency over time. यहाँ पे पूछ रहे हैं 0 to 5 फ़ोन कॉल्स. 0 to 5 फ़ोन कॉल्स की फ्रिक्वेंसी कितनी है? दैट इज़ 9. एंड कितने डेज़ की बात करें? 20 डेज़ की 9 फ्रिक्वेंसी, और ईच डे की मालूम करने के लिए डिवाइड बाई 20 कर देंगे. सो वी विल गेट द वैल्यू फॉर 20. नाउ इफ़ वी कुड सिंप्लीफाई दिस, देन आवर आंसर वुड बी रिटन इन मोर सिंप्लीफाइड वे, but 9 over 20 cannot be simplified, hence 9 over 20 is our final answer. Moving on. Kamal works for 160 days. Find the number of these days Kamal would expect to receive 11 or more phone calls at work. So the question is saying to find out the frequency for 11 or more phone calls for 160 days. 11 to 15 फ़ोन कॉल्स इन 20 डेज़ के अंदर 4 आई हैं, और 16 और मोर दे आर 2. So when we add 4 plus 2, this will give us 6. The 6 is telling us that there will be 6 phone calls in 20 days. So when we divide 6 by 20, this will give us the value for 1 day, and when we multiply it by 160, we will get the value for 160 days. 0 से 0 cancel कर लेते हैं, and 2 1s are 2 and 2 3s are 6, and now the remaining, which is equals to 3 multiplied by 16, that is equals to 48. So in total he will get 48 phone calls in 160 days. Moving on, the next question. Write 42 million in standard form. स्टैंडर्ड फॉर्म के लिखने के अंदर हम लोग जो है इसके पावर लगाते हैं, तो हम लोग इसमें डेसिमल पॉइंट कहाँ तक मूव करेंगे टू मेक इट अ स्टैंडर्ड फॉर्म. सो राइट नाउ डेसिमल इज ओवर हियर. सो वी विल 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 टाइम लोग मूव करेंगे. सो द वैल्यू विल बी 4.2 मल्टीप्लाई बाई 10 एक्सपोनेंट 7. So we'll write it over here like 4.2 multiplied by 10 to the power 7. Evaluate. अब इसके अंदर जो है हम लोग को आंसर अपना स्टैंडर्ड फॉर्म में देने के लिए सबसे पहले जब आप इवेल्यूएट देख रहे हो, इन दोनों की पावर्स अलग हैं, तो इन दोनों की पावर्स जो है हम लोग सेम कर लेते हैं. तो 0.13 मल्टीप्लाई बाय 10 टू द पावर -3 प्लस 7.4 multiplied by 10 to the power -3. Okay, now adding them together, moving them separately, like 0.13 plus 7.4 multiplied by 10 to the power -3, and when we add them together, like 0.13 and 7.40, add them together. 0 plus 3 is 3, 4 plus 1 is 5, and point will be carried out, and 7.53. So the answer will be 7.53 multiplied by 10 to the power -3. So your answer is 7.53 multiplied by 10 to the power -3. Okay, moving on to the next question. Question number 15. Triangle ABC is mathematically similar to triangle CBD. AB is equals to 5 cm, AC is equals to 7 cm, and BC is equals to 8 cm. Calculate BD. BD जो है वो आपकी ये वाली लाइन है, सही है. हमें इस लाइन की वैल्यू मालूम करनी है. अभी सिमिलैरिटी के अंदर जो है हम लोग को टोटल 3 लेंथ्स, मतलब 3 लाइन्स अगर मालूम हो, तो हम लोग 4th लाइन निकाल सकते हैं. किस तरीके से? जैसे कि this angle and this angle is similar, and this angle, or let me choose it from another color. This angle and this angle are same. So right now we have the length for three lines, and we need for this line, so we can write as के BD के ऑपोजिट कौन सी लाइन है. जैसे BD इस लाइन में जो है वो ये वाली लाइन है ना, तो BD के ऑपोजिट जो दूसरा ट्राइंगल है उसके अंदर जो है ये वाली लाइन है. इसकी लेंथ कितनी है, BD इज इक्वल्स टू 8, मतलब कि इसके ऑपोजिट वाली 8 है. नाउ लेट्स टेक अनदर लाइन, लाइक हमने जो बड़ा ट्राइंगल है उसके अंदर से हम लोग BC एक लाइन ले लेते हैं, और छोटे वाले ट्राइंगल में से फिर कौन सी लेंगे, AB लेंगे. तो BD के लिए हमने ली और डिवाइडेड बाय 8, एंड और छोटे वाले ट्राइंगल में से हमने ली 5. सो नाउ व्हेन वी सिंप्लीफाइड दिस we'll get the answer for BD. So 5 BD, moving 5 to the other side, 5 BD is equals to 8 multiplied by 8. This will give us 64, and BD is equals to 64 divided by 5, and we cannot simplify this thing as it is paper 1, and you can not allowed to use calculator. So 64 divided by 5 will remain your answer. Okay, moving on. So moving on to the next question, question number 16. The question is saying the region R is defined by these three inequalities. So let's draw the inequalities by figuring out their coordinates. The first one is y is greater than equal to 2x. So let's find the coordinates. Let's just find the coordinates for y is equal to 2x. When if x is minus 1, what would be the value of y? That would be 2 minus 1, 2 multiplied by minus 1, which will be minus 2. And when x is 0, y also would be 0. And when y is equals to 2x, then when x is 1, 1, then y would be 2, and when x would be 2, then y would be 4. So this will give us the value, like the 0 comma 0 is over here. Then when x is 1, y is 2, like this. And on the next point, when x is 2, y is 4, like this. Okay, I'm not using a stylus right now, so my line would not be straight, so it will look something like this. Okay, so for the next inequality, x plus y less than equal to 4. So let's just make the equation like y is equals to 4 minus x. Okay, so when x is minus 1, then y would be 5. When x is 0, y would be 4. When x is 1, then y would be 3. When x is 2, then y would be 2. When x is 3, the y would be 1. So let's mark this line in green. When x is minus 1, y is 5, like on this point, around this point over here. And the next one is saying when x is 0, then y is 4, like this. And now moving on like that, when x is 1, y is 3, x is 1, y is 3, and when x is 2, y is 2, and this will just go on like that. And let's draw a straight line. Oops, it would look like something like this. Okay, now the next line, x is less than equal or greater than equal to 0. X is equals to 0. So this line is just a straight line on x-axis like this. Let me draw it with another color. And we need to find and label this region R. So when we need when we label this region, we have to see at the signs, these signs greater than equal to, less than equal to, and this one. Okay, When for the first inequality, y is greater than equal to 2x, y is greater than equal to 2x was this line over here. It is saying greater, so it means like this portion. Okay, and then for the next one, it is saying y plus x plus y is less than equal to 4. So that line was, no, my bad, the first line was this one. So in which it is saying greater than, which means this area. Okay, and so for the next inequality, it is saying x plus y less than equal to 4, x plus y less than equal to 4. This was this region. Less than equal to means this, the under part of this line, the bottom part of this line. And so for now we know that it is in this region because of these two inequalities. And now from the last inequality, it is saying x greater than equal to 0, so which leaves us with this portion. This is our shaded region R, and we need to label it R. So just write it down, R. Okay, moving on, question number 17. Okay, so for this part, question number 17, it is saying A, B, C, and D are points on a circle with the center O. Angle BAD is equals to 120 degrees and angle OBC is equals to 20 degree. By looking at the diagram, we can see that the angle or the triangle OBC, there is a triangle and it looks like an isosceles triangle, as both of the sides are touching on the edge of the circle, on the circumference of the circle, and the opposite angles in an isosceles triangle are equal, these ones. So this angle is 20 degree, as we know. And to find out the angle x, we know that opposite angle in a quadrilateral inside a circle is 180 degree, the sum of opposite angles. So right now we know that 180 is equals to 120 plus 20 plus x. Okay, so now moving all the values to the other side, 180 minus 120 plus 20, sorry, minus 20, this will give you the value for x. And minus 20 minus 20 minus 120 minus 20 will give you minus 140, and 180 minus 140 is equals to x. X is equals to 40 degrees. So the angle x is 40 degrees. So for the next part, it is saying that find the value of y. Okay, so to find the value of this angle, we need to find out the value of this angle first. Why? Because we'll use a concept for the two triangles, using two triangles BDC and BOC. The and both of these triangles lie on the same line BC, so this angle would be the half of the angle over here, the BOC angle. So we know that angle BOC is 2 times the value of BDC, the angle of BDC. Okay, so we know that the internal angle of this triangle would be 180 degrees, and we know the two angles, so we can find the other angle. So to find the other angle, we will use 40 minus 180, no sorry, 180 minus 40 will give you the angle of 2y, which is 140. X is equals to 140. X means like O, and 140, so this is 2 of y. So when we divide it by 2, when we divide 140 by 2, we'll get the value for y. So 2 times 2 is 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 times 7 is 14, so our answer is 70. Y is 70 degrees and x is 40 degrees. Okay. For question number 18, it is saying evaluate 125 to the power minus 1 over 3. So the power is negative right now, so we have to convert it to the positive form. To convert the sign to the positive form, we need to reciprocal this. So 1 over 125 divide over to the power 1 over 3 will give us the positive power. And now we know that the cube of 5 is equals to 125, so we can write 1 over 5 cube time to the power 1 over 3, and the powers will cancel out, so this will give us 1 over 5 remaining, and so our answer is 1 over 5. Next. Okay, so when we simplify the part B, which is simplify a cube divided by 4a to the power 3 over 2. First let's rewrite this down. A cube over 4a to the power 3 divided by 2. Okay, let's just simplify it inside first. The power a and the power will cancel out, which will remain a square and 4. Now let's split the power, like a square to the power 3 over 2 divided by 4, which is power is 3 over 2. Now let's say a square's power would be cancelled out with 3 over 2's 2. These are cancelled out, which remains a cube. And now for the bottom part, let's say 3 multiplied by 1 over 2, which means let's say we're taking the under root in the next line. So a cube is the remaining for the numerator, and for the denominator let's take the under root 4 to the power 3. Under root 4 is equals to 2, and carrying on, a cube divided by 2 cube, this will give us a cube divided by 8, which is our simplest answer, a cube divided by 8, because the cube of 2 is 8. Okay, next question. Question number 19. A mass of a bag of almonds is 125 grams. Correct to the nearest gram. Write down the lower bound of the mass of the bag of almonds. So we need to write the lower bound of the mass of the bag of almond. We have given that the mass of the bag of almond is 125 gram, and for the nearest gram, which means dividing the 1 gram into half, which give us 0.5 grams. So lower bound will be saying like 125 minus 0.5 grams will give us the answer for the lower bound of the mass of the bag of almonds. 125 minus 0.5 will give us 124.5. This is our answer, 124.5 grams. The mass of the large box is 500 grams. Correct to the nearest 10 grams. The mass of the small box is 250 grams. Correct to the nearest 10 grams. Calculate the upper bound of the difference between the mass of a large box and the mass of the small box. So we have given that the mass of large box is 500 and small box is 250 grams, and both are measured to the nearest 10 grams. So when we calculate the upper bound of the large box, this will give us 500, and well, how much should we plus 10 grams, half would be 5 grams, so we'll add 500 plus 5. This is the upper bound, and for the lower bound we will subtract 500 from 500, we'll subtract 5. So this is the upper bound is 505, and the lower bound for the large bag is 495. Same we'll do with the small box. So lower bound, the upper bound of the small box is 250 minus 5, plus 5, which will result as 255, and the lower bound is equal to 250 minus 5, this will give you 245. And now calculate the upper bound. So the upper bound means difference between the mass of the large box and the mass of the small box. So we need to take the upper bound of the large box and the lower bound of the small box to get the difference of the upper bound. So upper bound for the large box is 505. When we subtract 245, this will give us let's just do it over here, the rough work. 505 divided by 245. 5 subtract 5 out from 5, this will give us 0, and then you cannot subtract 0 from 4, so this the remainder of 5 will be 4, giving out the carry 10, and subtracting 6 and 4, this will be give us 260. This will give us 260. So subtracting 505 minus 245 will give us 260. So the upper bound of the difference between the mass of the large box and the mass of the small box is 260 grams. Moving on to the next question. Question number 20 is saying f of x is equals to 2 minus 4x divided by 5. So we need to find, in the part A, find the f inverse of x. F inverse of x, it can be written as y is equals to 2 minus 4x 2 minus 4x over 5. And now let's substitute the value again. So x is equals to 2 minus 4y over 5. Now let's move the 5 to the other side. So 5x is equals to 2 minus 4y. And now let's switch the places. Now 4y is equals to 5x minus 2, and now let's make the y subject. Now y is equals to 5x minus 2 over 4. This is the f of x, f inverse of x. So our answer would be 5x minus 2 over 4, or on the last step we can also write like this: f inverse of x is equals to 5x minus 2 over 4. Okay, part B, it is saying simplify fx minus f2x. So for part B, write down the fx for the first one, which was 2 minus 4x over 5, and it is saying minus, and that is saying 2 times the value of x. Now so we cannot multiply over here like this, so we'll write it like 2 minus 4, and now with the value of x we'll multiply it by 2 and x like this, and are divided by 5. Okay, in the next step we'll open the bracket and continue the value of the left sided fraction as it is. 2 minus 4 over x, 2 minus 4x over 5 minus 2 minus, now opening the bracket, minus 4 multiplied by 2x will give you minus 8x divided by 5. On the next step, let's take the denominator common. 2 minus 2 minus 4x minus 8x. Now this minus x minus 8x will turn into plus, because the symbol over here was of minus, and minus will turn into plus. So now 2 minus 2 will cancel out, and minus 4x plus 8x will result in 4x, and the denominator is 5. So our answer would be 4x divided by 5. Moving on, question number 21. This is the question for the histogram, and so first we need to complete the histogram. So we need to find out the frequency density, and the formula for frequency density is frequency divided by class width. So for each of these we need to find the class width, and for the first part the frequency is 28 and the class width is the total, the highest minus the lowest value, which in this case it is 20. For in the next one it is also 20, in the next one it is 10, and from 160 to 150 it is 10. Class width is 10. Now dividing these, 28 divided by 20, this part is being given in our question over here, in which we can see that 1, 1.2, 1.4. The class width over here is frequency density over here is 1.4. So we know for the first part it is 1.4. Moving on to the next part, it is saying 60 divided by 20. Simplifying it, cancelling out the 0, and 2 times 1 is 2 and 2 times 3 is 6. This will give us 6. The frequency density is 6. The next part, 68 divided by 10, making it into a decimal form, this will give us 6.8. The class weight for the third one is 6.8, and the last part it is saying 24 divided by 10, this will give us 2.4 frequency density. Now making this on the histogram chart, the second part was, its frequency density was 6, no, it was 3 over here. So this is the 3's line, and it was from 120 to 140, so I drew a long line like this, and it is the other part. This is the bar for the second part, and for the next one it is 6.8 is the frequency density, and the length is from 140 to 150. So 6.8 is below 7, one line below 7. So we'll move up from here. We have reached 6 now, and then 6.2, 6.4, 6.6, and this point is 6.8. Now we need to move from 140 to 150. We move till 150 and then straight down. Okay, the last one, from 150 to 160 the frequency density is 2.4. so 2.4 will be, this is the line for 2, so 4 points up, 1, 2, 3, and this one is 4. Oops. Yeah, so this is the chart for histogram. Now the next part, this is the diagram, shows the graph of y is equals to 1 over x plus x divided by 2. By drawing a tangent, estimate the gradient of the curve when x is equals to 2. So we need to draw a tangent at 2. So using a scale, we need to draw a straight line crossing this point and crossing the point at x is equals to 2 like this. And I am not able to draw it perfectly as I cannot use a scale on my screen, but when you take out the print of this, you have to draw a line like this using a scale, and the answer in the marking scheme varies from 0.2 to 0.4. So the thing that you have to calculate is, like, if I get this point on the graph, for example, like this point, so how will you get the value? Like, so the distance from here to here is 1.5, and this is 0.6. so when you need to find the change in the gradient, so you can write change in y times divided by change in x is equals to, in y it was 0.6 and in x it was 1.5. when you divide this on your rough work column, just first of all remove the decimal. This will give you 6 divided by 1.15. So 6 times 15 is not possible, so sorry, it is possible. Under the bracket you need to give a point, so this will become 60, and 15 times 4 15 times 4 will give you 60, and this will cancel out. This is nothing remaining, so 0.4 is your answer. So this is just a rough work, but it would give you something like this. So I'm not possible to do this part perfectly. Okay, so the part B is saying, by drawing a suitable line on the grid, find the solution of 1 over x minus 5x divided by 2 plus 1 is equals to 0. ओके, सो हमें पता है कि y इज इक्वल्स टू 1 ओवर x प्लस x डिवाइड बाई 2 में गिवन है. तो हम लोग इसको अगर सब्जेक्ट बना लें, y इज इक्वल्स टू 1 over x plus x divided by 2, and 1x over here and 1x over here is common, so we can make y minus x divided by 2 the subject, and we can move it in the equation. So the equation would be written like, it can be written as y minus x over 2 minus 5x divided by 2 plus 1 is equals to 0. So now simplifying it out, y minus x minus 5x will become minus 6x, and the denominator will be taken as common, so divided by 2 plus 1 is equals to 0. And now simplifying it more, 1 divided by 6, so 2 1s are 2 and 2 3s are 6, and this will give you y is equals to minus 3, sorry, y minus 3 x plus 1 is equals to 0, and moving the whole equation to the other side will give you y is equals to 3x minus 1. So 1 over here, minus 1 is our in y-intercept, and 3x is the value that how much it moves. So minus 1 is our y-intercept, and it's saying it moves 3 parts up and one part towards the right. So just for this part, if we move 3 points up like this and one time over here, drawing a straight line like this passing through minus 1 will give us the value of x on the both of the curve. So when is the value touching on x? It is touching over here. So what is the value? That is around 0.5 and 0.45. so one value of x is negative 0.5, and what is the other value? It is no, not this point, it is at this point, so this can be almost 0.85 or 0.9. I'll take the answer of 0.9. okay, so for the next part, we have given a matrix A is equals to 3 minus 1 2 and 0. फाइंड A इनवर्स. तो A इनवर्स निकालने के लिए हमें सबसे पहले तो उसका एडजॉइंट निकालना पड़ेगा. एडजॉइंट ऑफ A इज इक्वल्स टू, तो हम लोग को मैट्रिक्स का ऑपोजिट करना पड़ेगा. 0 की जगह 3 की जगह 0 और 0 की जगह 3, और जो बचा हुआ जो दो पार्ट्स हैं उनकी साइंस चेंज करने के. -1 will become +1 and +2 will become -2. okay, now we know the adjoint of A, so we need to find the determinant. The determinant of A is equals to, okay, so -2 times 1 will give you So first of all, this part will be multiplied to each other. So 3 times 0 is 0, and minus 2 times 1 is minus 2, which will give you minus 2. So minus minus will be turned into 2. So the determinant is 2 and the adjoint is given as follows above. So when we move this part again, so we'll get 1 over 2 times the matrix, which is 0 1 minus 2 and 3, and you can write the answer like this as well: 1 over 2 and the value of the matrix 0 1 3 and minus 2. Or the other thing is, you can write it like 0 times half is 0, 1's half is 1 over 2, and minus 2's half will become minus 1, and half of 3 will become 3 over 2. So you can either write it like this or the other way around that I told you earlier. So for the next part, B, ax is equals to 7 and 4. So find x. We know a is equals to, let's just move a to the other side, and we have the value of a above 3 minus 1 2 and 0. So for x is equals to, what is the matrix? 3 minus 1 2 and 0, and the other matrix is 7 and 4. Okay, so we cannot move, when we move a to the other side, we have to use the inverse. Okay, so there will be the a inverse. So a inverse over here was 0 and half, and at the bottom it was minus 1 and 3 over 2. So to find x, now we need to multiply, the above part will be multiplied by these two, and the bottom part will be multiplied by this part. Okay, so move x is equals to 0 times 7 will remain 7, and adding half times 4, and the bottom part minus 1 times 7 plus 3 over 2 multiplied by 4. Let's just cancel out in this one. 2 1s are 2 and 2 2s are 4, and at the bottom one 2 1s are 2 and 2 2s are 4. So we are left with 0 times 7 is 0, plus, and on the above one it is the last part, the remainder is 2, and the remaining part of this part is 2. At the bottom part, minus 1 times 7 is minus 7, plus 3 times 2 will give us 6. Simplifying more, x is equals to 2, and the bottom part will give us minus 1. So our x matrix is 2 and minus 1. Okay, so we have completed till question number 23, and now let's solve question number 24. So we need to find the value of x. First of all, let's multiply this x minus 3 with this x over here, and multiply this x minus 1 with this 5 over here to get the this constant numerator and denominator. So x multiplied by x minus 3 and minus 5 multiplied by x minus 1, and we now have the denominator as x minus 1 times x minus 3. This is equals to 1. Opening up the bracket, this will give us x square minus 3x minus 5x, and minus 5 minus 1 will give you plus 5. And opening or Let's not open the bracket and the bottom, let's just move that both of the bracket to the other side. So this will give us 1 multiplied by x minus 1 and x minus 3. So now simplifying this part in this equation and opening the brackets on the right side, so x square minus 8x plus 5 is equals to 1 times 8. This one has no value, so we can just remove it over here and open the bracket. By opening the bracket, we can write it like x times x minus 3 and minus 1 times x minus 3. So this will give you, let's copy this down again, x square minus 8x plus 5 is equals to x square minus 3x. So on opening the other bracket, minus 1x minus will become plus, and 1 times 3 will give you 3. Okay, so moving all the thing to the other side, x square minus x square minus 8x minus 3x. Okay, so minus 3x will turn into positive 3x, and minus 1x will turn into, and this will turn into positive 1x, or you can just write it x, same thing, and plus 3 will turn into negative 3 and plus 5. So x square and x square will cancel out. Minus 8x plus 3x will give you minus 5x, and plus x will give you minus 4x. So minus 4x, and the last minus 3 plus 5 will give you plus 2 is equals to 0. And moving plus 2 to the other side, minus 4x is equals to negative 2. Moving minus 4 to the other side will give you x is equals to minus 2 divided by minus 4. Signs will cancel out, and 2 ones are 2 and 2 2s are 4. This will give you the answer 1 over 2. So the x value is 1 over 2. Okay, so for the last part, it is saying that OCB is a triangle. A is a point on OC such that OA to the ratio AC is equals to 1 to the ratio 3, and X is a midpoint of BC. So this X is a midpoint on this line BC. OA is equals to A, this part is A, and OB is equals to B. So this line over here is B. The value of it is B. Find the position vector of X. Give your answer as simply as possible in terms of A and B. To go to X, first we need to know the value of this line BC. So to go to BC, first we have to move from B to O and from O to C. So this will be minus B, or as you can write, BC is equals to minus B plus 4A. 4A is equals will be like, this part is A and this ratio is telling us that this part is 3A, so adding them together will give you plus 4A. So next we need to find out the length of BX. So when we move from O to X like this, we need to find the value of O. We have the value of OB, but we need to find out the value of BX. So as we know that the value of BX is half of BC, so BX or is BX is also equal to XC, which means this part is equals to this part. So half of BC, so 1 over 2 times what was the length of BC? It was minus B plus 4A. So this will give you minus B over 2 and plus, or you can just write it like minus 1 over 2 times b plus, and half of 4a will be 2a. Now multiply, now we know the value of bx and we have the value of ob. Adding them together we'll get the value of the line ox. So ox is equals to, when we go from b, ob, first we need to go from o to b, ob, and then adding op plus bx. So ob is b and bx is minus 1 over 2b plus 2a, and subtracting them together, half of b minus half b will give you 1 over 2b and plus 2a. This is your final answer. You can also write it like b over 2 plus 2a. This is your final answer. So now we have completed the past papers of 4024 summer 24 question paper 12. If you have any queries for this paper, you can ask in the comment section below, and do like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed. Thank you and Allah Hafiz.